Hello, I'm Mary, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know already, I'm planning on hiking the Pacific Crest Trail starting in April 2019. So what I've been doing recently is really dialing my gear down. I've done a few short through hikes. I've done the Great Glen Way in Scotland and the Pembrokeshire Coastal Path in Wales. And it's really given me a good chance to try out my gear, like really field test it. And what I'm going to talk about today is my choices for what hikers call the big three. So that's known as your pack, your shelter and also your sleep system. The pack I've chosen to through hike the PCT next year is the Osprey Asia 48. This is a really comfortable bag, which is the #1 reason I chose it. I have hiked with a different bag before by Osprey, which was the Osprey Aura 65. It had amazing hip belt support on it, the straps were really comfortable, and it was a much bigger bag, and it was really comfortable. But to through hike the PCT, I did need something a lot lighter. So I got this, and I have actually taken it out on a mini through hike already, and I found it worked really well for me. Like I say, the #1 reason I chose it is for comfort, but also it is really lightweight as well. And another reason I really like this bag is because it's got the airspeed system with Osprey, so it actually holds it away from your back. So especially in that first desert section where it's going to be really warm. I mean, I know everything is going to end up making you sweaty and stick to your back anyway, but because it's got this mesh on the back, I think it will relieve a little bit of that heat. The shoulder straps, like I say, are really comfortable on this, and it carries really nicely because the hip actually contours on it as well. So down here it's actually shaped for the women's fit. So when you've actually got it on and it's fully loaded and weighted up, when you've actually got it wrapped around your waist, it does take a lot of the weight, so you're not having too much on your shoulders, and I really like that. It's a top loading pack. It cost me in the UK £130. I believe in the US it's about $200. The weight of this is 2.5 pounds, which is 1.16 kilograms, and it's got a load range on the Osprey website. It says of between 50 and 40 pounds, which is perfect if you're wanting to carry a lot of water, especially in the desert sections to start with, or when you get into the Sierras and you need much warmer gear to carry or extra things to carry. The Aura 65, which I had on a short through hike that I did, that weighed about 4.5 pounds, so over 2 kilograms. So that was just not going to be something that worked on this type of through hike. But yeah, it's called the Asia 48, this particular one. You can get it in different sizes, but because I've ordered a small, so what I mean by that is that the back isn't adjustable, so you have to actually get it fitted to make sure it works for you. But I ordered the small in the Europe size, which actually takes it down to a 45 litre bag. But I think that that's going to be enough for me. It has got amazing storage sides in them here. You've got these huge pockets that you can just literally, you can put a whole tent in there. It's really stretchy, and so is the front. You've got a really good stretchy bit there as well. You've also got the brain on the top, which is adjustable, and you can actually completely take this off, and it has got a zip at the top here as well, so when you're actually hiking you can reach behind you and get what you need from that top pocket. Another thing I really like about this is the fact that it's got what they call the stow as you go feature, and I think that's quite common with Osprey bags. I love using trekking poles, and I like to take a lot of photographs, and I'm hoping to vlog my journey as well. So being able to not have to take my bag off and just be able to put my trekking poles in a little loop down here and through there, so I'm not actually leaving them lying on rocks or on the floor with the potential of forgetting them. So that is my Osprey Asia 48, which I will be taking with me. I've also done a separate video about a month or two ago on this particular bag, so if it is something that you're interested in looking at in more detail, like there's more specifications and more of my thoughts and feelings on it, feel free to check that out. I will put the link up there for you and also in the description box below. The shelter I'll be taking with me is the Big Agnes Tiger Wall UL2. That comes in at £2.03, which is 992 grams, which is the main reason I chose this tent. I wanted something that was really lightweight, but also really durable as well, and I believe that the Big Agnes brand is a good quality tent. It's not something that we actually get in the UK, so I did have to get this from the US and get it shipped over. And I know I could have probably waited till I got out there, but what I want to do is always try out my gear before I actually use it in the real life situation. So I have had a chance to use this. I went on a hike with this for about a week and it worked really well. There's a lot of things I like about it, a couple of things that I wasn't quite so sure on. But the main thing is that it was a really lightweight tent. It's really durable, and I think one of the other reasons I chose it is because it's a 2-door tent. I know you get a lot of tunnel tents which seem to be really popular, but I really love the idea of having 2 doors because I've had a tunnel tent before and I'm not really keen on going in through one door and having all your stuff in the way all the time. I do like the idea of the 2 doors, and it worked really well. What I tend to do is keep my pack and everything on one side, and then I'd have my sleeping bag on the other with my sleeping pad, and then just be able to get out of that door and use it as the access door. But then if I was cooking on a night or getting my stuff, I'd use the other side so I could just open and not have to reach over and keep trampling in and out all the time. So I did really like that. The other features that I liked on this is the fact that it's got a mesh at the top. So it's got like a privacy thing halfway along the tent, but at the top it's all mesh. So when you're lying in your tent at night, if you haven't got the rain cover over the top of it, you can actually see all the stars, and I really like that, and being able to see the views around you. I mean, that is another reason why I want to go out, because I love looking out at stars and being with nature, and I feel that if you're completely confined in a tent all the time, it's taken away some of the experience. Another thing with this is that it's really easy to set up. You have got all your poles which are kind of magnetically linked together, and then your tent itself just kind of clips over, so you're not having to get really confused. You know, if the weather's really bad or really windy, it's just really simple to set up, and I really like that. It saves a lot of time when you get to camp having to faff about with things. The head height of this tent is also something I really appreciated. Being able to sit in your tent when it's pouring it down with rain and have your dinner or get changed, having that extra space above your head made such a difference, I can't tell you. I mean, it's okay when the sun's out and when the weather's really good, but when you're actually confined to your tent, if it's more than a couple of nights, it can make you go a little bit stir crazy. So the head height on this tent, I believe, is 39 inches. So for me, I'm just a little under 5'2", and I was able to literally sit in the tent and put my hands up as I was getting changed, and it's just so nice because sometimes I think in tents you end up having to kind of crouch over and eat or do things, and you end up with such a sore back, especially if you've been hiking all day as well. So actually being able to sit up straight in a tent, oh, I found that really amazing. So at the very bottom of the tent where your feet would go, it's actually up at about a 90-degree angle by about a couple of inches. So what that means is that at the bottom of your tent you can still store things, so you've got usable space, whereas with other tents that I've seen, it kind of just goes down at an angle, so you've kind of lost a lot of space at the bottom that will never get used. And the other thing I really like about it is that it's got internal pockets, so you've got one either side of you where you're sleeping and then one above your head as well. I believe there is an extra thing that you can buy for these types of tents which link to the inside of it, but that's not something I'm going to feel like I need. I think 3 pockets is plenty for one person in a tent. I have also done another video on my review of this tent. If you want to check that out, I will again put the link here for you and put the description in the box below as well. Also, as part of my shelter system, I have chosen to bring the ground sheet, which is by Big Agnes. So this is a specific one for the Tiger Wall UL2. It comes in at 170 grams, which is 6 ounces. And I know I could probably make one that is a little bit lighter or get one that's a little bit cheaper, but I just thought, well, it comes with it, I know it works, may as well. And when I used it, it worked absolutely perfectly. I really like the fact that it's all colour coded, it works really well with the tent, and I know it's something that I'm going to be needing when I'm out there. And if it turns out that I need to drop some weight after I've used it, because I believe that the desert section's the worst for having to use ground sheets, you know, to make sure that your tent's protected, because there's a lot of things on the ground that can either rip your tent or damage your sleeping pads, things like that. But yeah, if I feel like I need to drop some weight when I'm out there, then I can get rid of it. I can ship it back to myself at home. But for now, it is something that I will be taking along with me to protect my tent, because I do not want that getting damaged. Now for my sleep system, the sleeping bag that I've chosen is the Mountain Hardwear Lamina Z Flame, which is the women's specific mummy style bag. This is a 21 Fahrenheit bag, which is -6 degrees Celsius, and it's fully synthetic. The reason I've chosen synthetic, which I know goes against the grain of a lot of thru hikers, is because if you don't know already, I am a vegan and have been for nearly 2 years. So buying a down sleeping bag is just not an option for me. I know a lot of people buy down because it's a lot more lightweight and a lot more convenient and stuff's a lot smaller. But personally, my beliefs are that I don't want to use anything that's got anything animal related to it at all. I just don't buy anything new anymore that has got anything to do with animals. So for me, it's a personal preference, and also it is a sacrifice I'm willing to make, knowing that it's going to be a little bit heavier. But that is just my personal opinion, and anyone else that buys down, that's each to their own, and that is, if it works well for them, then great. But for me, it is going to be synthetic all the way. I did order it online because I'm already familiar with the Mountain Hardwear brand. I do actually already have a sleeping bag. I think it was the Spark, which is about a probably 0 degree bag, 0 degrees Celsius bag, which is not as warm as this one. And I've used it on a thru hike before, a short thru hike before. But I found that it just didn't keep me warm enough because I am quite a cold sleeper. So I did want one that's a bit warmer, so I ordered it online. I knew what the sizing was like, and I absolutely love it. This is just like a storage bag because I believe that you're not supposed to keep them compressed when you store them. They're always supposed to be kept a little bit loose so you're not actually damaging the effect of them. So I'll take it out and show you it in a bit more detail. So first of all, what's not to love about the colour? If you don't know me already, which if you see my channel, you'll probably notice this colour coming up quite a lot on a lot of my gear now, is I absolutely love anything turquoise or jade, anything like that colour. But yeah, I really do love this bag, and there's so many different reasons why I love it. The first one obviously is because it keeps me warm at night, and that I think is the absolute most important thing. I know a lot of people can scrimp on sleeping bags, and I've seen so many people that have gone out on long distance thru hikes and they've been miserable because they've been so cold on an evening. And yes, they may have shaved off a few 100 grams here and there, but for me, I can be a bit of a cold sleeper, especially if I get overtired or if I'm not moving about enough on an evening. So personally, to me, I don't really mind about the extra weight because I want to be warm. There is no way I am sacrificing warmth on an evening. And this absolutely did the job for me when I've taken it out and tested it already. So I'm really happy with the warmth on it. And another reason why I think it retains heat so well is that it's got this special laminar construction, which is on the Mountain Hardwear site, so I won't go into it in detail. It's got this amazing draft collar on it here, and I found that when you're tucked up in bed on a night, this tucks up really nicely around your chin, and also where the zip is. I don't know if you can quite see here, but where the zip is, when you undo it, you have actually got this collar, extra collar. It's like extra bit of material, and that is the bit that keeps any drafts out through the zip area. It has also got a storage pocket here. It's probably about that size, probably hand size. I end up putting like sleeping buds in there, like earbuds, and my mobile phone and maybe lip balm or something like that. No doubt I'll probably be putting my filter system in there on really cold nights, or at the bottom of my bag to make sure they don't freeze, so I'm sure it'll be multi-purpose. It is a mummy style sleeping bag, so you have got the length of it wider at the top and also going narrower towards the bottom, which saves a little bit of weight. And what's really great is that you've got the bit that goes over your head here as well, so you can really get yourself tucked in there. And you've got the drawstring cord here, so when you pull that tight, you can really pinch it really tight. So in the end, it can just be literally your nose or your mouth peeking out through the hole, and that is something that does keep you really toasty warm. The bag has got a full length zipper on it as well, which I really love, because when you do get too hot, so especially if you're going to keep this for the whole 5 or 6 months out on trail, you're going through like the heat and the cold, but on those hotter nights you can actually leave it completely unzipped and use it as like a blanket. So that is something that I'll no doubt utilise as well on the trail. Another thing I like about this is the foot box. So it's actually got a large foot area. I know some of them, when they're mummy styles, they just go really small at the end, but this actually seems to go a little bit bigger just around the foot area, but then goes narrow again as you work your way through the bag. I paid £110 for this bag, and I got mine back in July in the UK, and that was on sale. I think it's normally about £140, £150 in the UK. And I believe in America, I actually checked this morning online, it was about $170 to $180. I did see it somewhere on sale for $140. I can't remember where that was. but it's not an expensive bag. It is a reasonably priced bag for what you're actually getting. The weight of this bag is 3 pounds and 7 ounces, which is about 1,550 grams. And I have seen people with sleeping bags that are about 700 or 800 grams. So I know this is probably double the weight of some people's bags or quilts. But again, like I said, it's a sacrifice I'm willing to make to A, be warm on a night, and also B, so I don't actually have to buy down. If by any chance I get out on the trail and find it's too warm or too heavy, then it is something that I can maybe invest in getting something a bit lighter or switching it out for something else. But as it stands at the moment, it's going to work fine for me. What Mountain Hardwear also supply you with when you order this bag as part of the price is a stuff sack or compression sack. So what I'm going to do is pop it in here and just show you how small it can actually get. So this is it, all stuffed in its compression bag, and the website for Mountain Hardwear says that it will actually compress to 9 inches by 18 inches. Now I have just compressed this into this little bag, measured it with my trusty ruler, and I have got it to under 10 inches by 12 inches. So I've actually managed to beat what they've said. So I don't know if I've over compressed it or not, but it does pack down pretty small, and I'm really pleased with how small it goes. I know there's a lot of other synthetic bags out there that don't compress as much, so this is quite comparable to a lot of down bags, and I saw on the website that it is, for the weight, one of the leading compressible bags that are out there. So Mountain Hardwear is definitely a really good brand. I promise I don't work for them, I just really like their sleeping bags. As part of my sleep system, I've also chosen to take an air mattress with me, and the one that I've gone for is the Therm-a-Rest X-Lite Women's Neo Air, and this is a woman specific one. It's got an R value of 3.9, and I believe the scale goes from 1 to 8, so 8 being the warmest. And the reason why I've chosen this, 2 reasons. The first one being it is really comfortable to sleep on. I've had those traditional foam pads before and I've just never got on with them. So actually having something that I can blow up and sleep on, I find so much more comfortable. And the second reason is that it keeps you so much warmer, not actually lying directly on the ground, but having that space between you. And I believe it's got some kind of reflective coating thing that it does, that it keeps you warmer. I don't know about the technology side of it, but it does make a difference. It does keep you warm because you're off the ground. Now the size of this Therm-a-Rest is absolutely perfect for me. I'm just under 5'2", and as you can see, my feet, well, my heels go to the bottom there, no problem at all, and my head goes just to the very top there. So I've actually got about another inch or 2 possible on this. Anyone else that's a little bit taller than me will probably find that their feet hang off the end, but that's not so much of a big deal. You can just put something at the end there. This is the women's size. So the size of this one is 51 centimetres by 168 centimetres. It also comes with a repair kit included, and the weight of this is 340 grams. It is provided in a little bag, so with a toggle, but I won't be taking that out on trail with me because I will be trying to save weight. So all I will be taking is the mattress itself, and when it rolls up, it's nice and small. It is more or less the same size as one of those water bottles that you can get, and it does what it says on the tin. It's a sleeping mattress. The disadvantage of this, when I very first started using it, was the fact that it does crinkle quite a lot when it's new. I found that whenever you move, it's quite loud. So if you are sleeping near someone or in the same tent as someone, it can be that little bit irritating. But I found after using it for a couple of weeks that it does wear off a little bit. But also if you don't blow it up to its full capacity, so you have it a little bit more squidgy, it's not as noisy. So top tip for your sleeping partner so they can get better sleep. But you can hear it's a little bit crinkly, which isn't too bad when you're actually outside, but when you're inside filming, probably not the best thing. But it is a really comfortable pad. I'm really happy with it. Now the final item for my sleep system I'm taking with me is what is classed as a luxury item within the hiker community. And if you're not a hiker, you will probably think this is maybe an essential item, but it is actually a inflatable pillow. So the one I have chosen to go with is the Sea to Summit Aeros ultralight pillow, and this is in a size regular. This weighs in at 60 grams, which is 2.1 ounces, and it is something I do not want to be without. I have tried rolling up clothes or using stuff sacks as an alternative to a pillow, but it just hasn't worked for me, and especially if you're going to be using all your clothes and you still need something to put your head on. The dimensions of this are 36 by 26 by 12 centimeters, so it's a nice size pillow, and it does actually contour around your neck as well. It's got a really nice inflatable and deflatable toggle on the back, and the colour is really cool as well. You know what I'm like with my greens and turquoises. So it does come in a little stuff sack, and I won't be taking the stuff sack with me. Obviously, I will just be putting this in my sleeping bag when I'm out on trail and leaving it in there, probably in the little pocket that you've seen. But it comes really, really compact, and it is quite a decent size. And I love the colour. I really hope this video has been helpful or useful in some way. If you have got any comments or questions at all, please feel free to put them in the comment section below, and I will get back to you just as soon as possible. If you've liked this video, give me a like, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Also turn on the bell notification so you get updates when I post my next videos, and I will look forward to seeing you next time. Bye!